I mean, the show's called Wonderbox. That's
Yes.
Where's that name come from? What was
It's sort of, it comes, I read this book about I can't remember the author, which I should probably have done, but it's about like German families. Apparently they have a thing called a Wunderkammer, which is a wonder box, and they put various things that they've had during or books or whatever into this box, and they pass them down through the generations. So it's about that, and I don't know, I thought there was something interesting about that, and it came from there about me kind of grabbing stories from my family and putting them into my wonder box. So it's sort of, if that makes sense, that's kind of roughly the idea.
I mean, as well as a man on the stage, you're obviously a TV star as well now.
Right, TV star.
Yeah.
I know you said that.
And I mean, how different is the stuff that you do in your stand-up set?
Okay, well, so stand-up is sort of looser and kind of goes all over the shop, whereas the particularly good news, that's specifically about the news. So I'll kind of, it's all topical stuff. And my stand-up tends to be kind of longer stories, but with sort of jokes interspersed. But that's it really. But kind of that's the main difference really. That one of them is rigidly about the news, and the other just can be about anything.
I mean, I don't know if you know, our esteemed readers voted the greatest show in the 10-year history of BBC Three. How do you feel?
I was really delighted. I thought it was really very kind of you. So thank you very much. Very cool.
What do you think is it about the show Good News which appeals, connects so well with especially younger people?
I think maybe it's just because there's just loads of jokes in it. I think it's something that you can just watch. It's pretty good disposable telly. Do you know what I mean? You don't really have to be connected with it. If you don't like one joke, there's one come around the corner, so you could iron or eat food, and it's just so kind of, you know what I mean? There isn't really anything to kind of concentrate on other than just flinging out jokes. That's why I like doing it.
I mean, a lot of Good News as well. There's a sort of very sensitive side to a lot of your work. I mean, is that kind of how you feel your style of comedy is?
I like funny stories, but I also like stories that are touching. So it's that's why I really like the end of the show, because we'll put a story out that kind of makes you think about your place in the world sometimes, and I'm really proud of that bit of the show. I think it's just quite a nice. It's basically take the piss out of the world for 25 minutes, and then here's something sweet to go to bed with.
It's one of the biggest rating shows on BBC Three.
Yeah.
Do you want it to get shifted over to BBC One?
I think the great thing about sort of telly now is that it doesn't really matter where you are. Just people will watch what they like. I like watch loads of stuff on Netflix. The Inbetweeners was on E4. And then went on to Channel 4 and became a massive film. So I think loads of people watch this on iPlayer as well. So something like we're second only to like Doctor Who on the iPlayer. So I think TV viewing has changed.
As a comedian, you obviously deals with current affairs stuff.
Yeah.
When Margaret Thatcher died on Monday, I mean, how did you feel from the sort of looking at that news as a comedian?
Well, we're not on air, so it was that thing of going, we're gonna. Well, will this still be around when we start? That was my first thought. And how will we cover it? And then I was watching all this news footage, and some people loved her and some people hated her, and you think, well, how can we create? And then the footage that subsequently rolled in is just fascinating. You get such anger and such love, and I think there'll be a way of almost doing a bit about the way that the news covered it, rather than kind of jokes per se. Because my only memory of Margaret Thatcher is watching her on Spitting Image with my dad. Do you know what I mean? So.
Very recently you took over the mantle of Heat's Weird Crush of the Year, which I know I'm sure the other sort of 6 people who spoke to you asked about. Yeah. How do you feel when they announced it? Do you think, and I sort of read the quote, said you've made me king of the mingers. Do you see it as a compliment, as an insult, bit of both?
I think it's an insult, isn't it, really? I wasn't, I just thought it was, pretty funny. It's just very odd. But, I think if anyone's being kind about it, has the word weird in it, then they're not being kind.